Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our Tuesday night talk. My name is Dennis with the Des Moines New Age Shop and Community Center, and it's been a couple of weeks since I've been on here, and actually, it's been 3 weeks since I have done the talk. 2 weeks ago, my wife wanted to do something different, which I don't blame her necessarily. And then last week, frankly, last week it just slipped my mind. I completely spaced out. I completely spaced it off, and I'm sorry about that. And then, ironically enough, um, Wednesday I was going to try to do. Last Wednesday I was going to try and do the Tuesday night talk a day late versus a week late, and it's Tuesday again now, obviously. But I was going to try and do the Tuesday night talk last Wednesday since I forgot to do it last Tuesday. And as I was actually getting ready to, prep I had just walked in the door of the house and I was getting ready to set up to do the live stream last Wednesday. Frankly, a family emergency came up, and so I dropped what I was doing and went and did that instead. Long story short, somebody went missing. She was found, safe, and that's pretty much all everybody knows at the moment. So, anyways, um, it's been a very interesting last couple of weeks since we've done a Tuesday night talk, though. A lot of things have happened in this world, and a lot of things continue to happen in this world. And these are, frankly, it's an uncomfortable subject to talk about. But it's also a subject that, frankly, I would be remiss if I did not bring it up. Okay. Especially, we don't, this is not a political statement. We don't do politics with the Des Moines New Age Shop, but we do human decency. We are humans nonetheless. Hi, Leanne. And anybody with two eyes and two brain cells and at least a decent moral compass could see that what happened to George Floyd was, frankly, inhumane. There's no other way to say it. That was murder, done and done. I cannot find another word to describe that. There is no other word to describe what happened to that man. And there are some people that say, well, why didn't the people with the camera maybe jump in there? And I'm going to be honest, if you were facing down four armed cops, would you jump in there? Good evening, Delia. Because I know one thing I learned in Boy Scouts, especially, this is a weird segue. One thing I learned in Boy Scouts, especially when doing the life-saving merit badges, when trying to save someone from drowning, what you're always taught, think of your own safety first, because you're not saving anybody if the person kills you in the process, or if you get hurt in the process, and then there's now two people that need to be saved versus just the one. Okay. And frankly, the way the cops in that video were acting, I frankly don't blame the people with the camera for not doing anything more than filming it. I'm sure they feel bad enough as it is, but what more could they have done? Frankly, it's a messy situation. And, and I'm stumbling here, sorry. Ultimately, just with, in a good world, in a perfect world, justice will be dealt and justice will be served. All right. And frankly, hopefully, I'm going to be honest. I hope he gets put in general pop, or I hope he gets put in gen pop. I mean, I doubt it. He's a cop, and he probably won't get put in general population when he goes to prison. I don't see how he doesn't go to prison. All right. But he needs to, obviously. And so, yes, Delia, I agree. They did. They did. And it's also, yeah, they did help. And it's one of those things a lot of people have been questioning why they didn't do more. They did what they could do because, frankly, I'm just going to reiterate this point. The people that were holding the camera did the most that they could do within boundaries, and without getting themselves killed in the process. Because if they were willing to do that to him, I have no doubt that they would have done it to the people holding the camera had somebody jumped in there. I mean, at worst, they would have been tased. At best, they would have been tased. At worst, they would have been killed right along with him. And so you're probably right, Delia. You're probably right. So, but again, this is also leading me to my next point. All right. People are righteously angry. They have the right to be angry for obvious reasons. All right. We hear you. We all hear you. Well, Sarah, very frankly, I mean, I do have my cards. The topic of the video, I do have my cards. By the way, I got the replacement deck finally. Let me show you the size comparison of the new deck versus the old. All right. All right. Here's the new deck. All right. Now, here's the old deck. Significantly larger cards, but it is the same deck. So, and I've been talking about needing to get a new deck for a while. I've had this one since 1998. This deck has been all over the world with me. All right. Yes, even in the Persian Gulf. So, but anyways, let me go ahead and put the old deck back in its new pouch. And I hear somebody in the other room over here. Ahem. Who's over there?
Just me, Antoinette.
Okay, it's just Antoinette. Okay, I've got nothing to worry about. She's practically harmless. Anyways. Okay. And yes, Delia, I actually can shuffle them. It's not, I can't shuffle them the same way I normally would the previous deck. My hands aren't that big, as you can see here. But it is possible to shuffle them. I just have to do it a different way. And again, before I pull a card, I am going to have to make this brief tonight because I've got to get up at 4:30 in the morning. Anyways, what I was going to state in something here, the Des Moines New Age Shopping Community Center, we have actually, the position we have taken in all this, let justice be served. There's no need to riot, and there's no need to loot, and there's no need to destroy other people's property in all of this. There's no need for violence. And I will mention that has actually gotten us some hate, ironically enough. People actually told us that one person on Facebook actually told my wife, keep in mind, my wife is Mexican, but they told her to check her privilege. her white privilege, even though she's brown. And another person actually left us a bad review saying that we are low-key racist. Because we don't want other people's property to be destroyed. And the way I look at it, I do not advocate destroying other people's property and other people's stuff. It'd been one thing if they went and destroyed a government building or something like that. Okay, if they're mad at the system, that'd be one thing. But people's private businesses, there's a lot of people that won't be able to rebuild after that. That literally ruins their livelihood. And hell, a good chunk of the time, they're more than likely actually agree with you. And so, I'm not saying everybody does, but again, this here is not a right or left issue. This is a human decency issue that this is all stemming from. And so there's no need to go and destroy people's livelihoods over this. It's simply seek your justice. Don't destroy other people's lives trying to seek it. And yeah, the shop actually got some hate for taking that kind of a stand. I do find it odd. And so that's, yeah, simply put. All right. Who was the first? Sarah Borchard. I believe I've pulled a card for you before. And let me see what I can pull for you tonight, especially as here, let me tilt the, yes, that is my Mushu t-shirt, says dishonor. I just want to show you guys how I can actually shuffle these cards real quick. It's possible, especially considering the fact that the deck is literally the size of my freaking hand. All right. And so, do one more shuffle here. Kind of feel like Bob Ross, or somebody doing a how-to. And we're going to do this, and we're going to do that, and voila. And so Sarah Borchard would like a card. Sarah Borchard shall get a card. As I've mentioned before, especially on the live streams, I actually do the pop-out method. And so I'll shuffle the cards as best I can. As you can see, I'm just shuffling them like so. And, well, sure enough. All right, Sarah, what popped out for you, whatever the issue, whatever it is, it's probably, from what I can tell, it's the Hermit reversed. All right. Yeah, I give you an idea how big the cards are too in comparison to the old ones. All right. Hermit reverse. This is basically somebody who is kind of stuck in the past and has not learned the lessons of the past and is possibly holding on to old, outdated ideas. And so whatever it is, it's more than likely a case. Insanity oftentimes is described as doing the same thing over and over and over again and hoping for a different result. And so whatever it is you're trying to figure out, whatever it is you're trying to do, you should probably take a different approach. Even if you don't think there is another approach, as Dory's father said, there's always another way. And yes, I made a Finding Dory reference there. The joys of having a child who loves Pixar movies. Let's see here. Melissa Johnson Walker. Like I said, this is going to be brief tonight, folks, because, yeah, as I mentioned, I do have to get up early in the morning. And Melissa Johnson Walker. Well, Melissa, whatever it is that you're doing currently, you're going to have to let it play out. And there's nothing you can, the Two of Swords is basically stagnation's not the right word, but it is simply to say that things have been set in motion and there's really nothing you can do to change the outcome. Or possibly things that you do will still get the same outcome no matter what you do. And so things have been set in motion. You're going to have to let them play out. And let's see here. Oh, of course, Delia wants a card. And Carolyn Peterson also asked for a card. Carolyn asked first. So let's see here. And one thing I am going to also, again, folks, there's a couple of things I am going to mention. One, I'm not a medium. I won't be able to tell you anything about any of your passed on relatives. All right. They're not talking to me. I will say that. Also, I am not a doctor. All right. Don't ask me if you're going to die. Don't ask me if you have any illnesses. I don't know. If you think you have a medical condition or a medical issue, go see a doctor. Do not take my word on that. Just go see a doctor. I will not be able to answer any kind of health questions. All right. People have actually, even after mentioning that before, people still continue to ask if they should go see a doctor, or, you know, some have even asked me if they're going to die. I mean, I'm about to say, are you going to die? Short answer is yes. Will I know when? No. and I'm not going to be able to tell you if it's going to be within the next year or the next, you know, the most accurate I'm going to be, especially is that you will probably die sometime within the next 100 years. All right. All right, Carolyn Peterson. Let's see what I've got for you. I'm still waiting for a card. There we go. All right. Carolyn, Princess of Sacred Circles. This is a motherly figure. And so this could be a reference to you, or it could be a reference to somebody that you know, somebody that you're dealing with. Sacred Circles, in a lot of decks, it's the pentacles or the coins. In my deck, it's Sacred Circles. And so simply, it is about to say this is a loving, nurturing person as well. So it might be somebody that's on your mind, or it could be dealing with somebody, again. And so maybe it's somebody that you know. And so check on them. Whoever it is you're thinking of, check on them. And so, all right. Delia? Oh, crap. I already started, didn't I? Well, I guess I'll give you a card now, if you're okay with that. So, all right. And let's see here. Delia. Another thing about the new deck, they don't pop out so easily now. They literally, I mean, it's very smooth, obviously, with its, well, I say that and I just dropped half the deck. But one card did land. Interesting. Delia, I don't know what's going on with you. But Three of Cups, this is reconciliation, possibly even forgiveness. Whether you're owed forgiveness, or whether you owe, or maybe you need to forgive somebody. This is one of those, and I understand forgiveness is not always easy. Forgiveness comes easier to some than it does to others. And so it'll simply put whatever the issue is, I hope it works out, but it might be time. It might honestly be time to, forgive or even seek closure of the issue. And so Dewan. All right. All right, here. Dewan, if you're still on here, I'm pulling a card for you. I don't get to people's comments right away. And so, like I said, I am planning on making this brief tonight. And so, oh, well, that popped right out. That's interesting as well. Dewan, you also got the Hermit reversed. And so, I've known you for probably about 10 years now, maybe a little bit more. I understand we don't interact that often, but whatever, I'm not sure exactly. I'm not going to claim I know you that well, obviously. We don't interact that often, but it's simply whatever there's something that you're holding on to that you probably need to let go of. So, again, and that seems to be a running theme tonight here from what I've noticed. Hey, John, happy birthday. If you're still on here. Let's see here. And let's see here. Hi, Dina. All right, I will pull a card for you. And, well, here we go. And let's see. Oh, not quite. Thought I was going to jump out there. All right, Dina Pullman Anderson. Well, that popped right out. Well, if there's one thing I will mention, I do still have the book. Because it's still the same deck. And, of course, Dina gets a card that I have to double check. Okay. Princess of Cups. All right. Dina, you got the Princess of Cups straight up. And basically, this is not a card I get very often. That's why I looked it up. But ultimately, this is somebody who, this indicates somebody who is actually well-versed in the energies of the earth and energies of love and emotion and relationships, and a healer of relationships and emotions. And so, whether this is somebody that you know, or maybe even referring to you, this is, or maybe somebody's actually seeking your help, or some kind, or advice in that arena. And this basically indicates whoever you're thinking of, they are the one. If it's you, or if it's somebody you're thinking of, that's ultimately your role in the situation, or their role. And so, and let's see here. Amanda Elder. You're welcome, Sarah. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you, Melissa. Leanne's bouncing back and forth from WHO. And let's see. Ashley Marie Gomez. You're welcome, Carolyn. Ashley Marie Gomez is asking for a card. I'm getting to everybody as quickly as I can. Let me go down here, though, because it's 9:15. And I said 9:15. That's so 2 minutes ago. I am going to type this in. All right. Last card is literally the cutoff. Anybody who comments after last card, and this actually happened 3 weeks ago, last time I did this. Let's see here. And you're welcome to Juan if you're still here. I don't know. I never know who's actually watching unless they comment or tell me that they're here. Let's see here. Ashley Marie Gomez, she is next on here. But I'm going to mention anybody who comments after last card, I'm sorry, but tune in next time, which will more than likely be next Tuesday. All right, and I'm also going to start I'm also going to see if I can start bumping these up to 7 o'clock, because trust me, getting up that early doesn't help when you're having to. When you know you're going to be staying up for at least 10 hours after that. Anyways, because also last week there was probably last time I did this, there were probably a good 20 comments after the last card. And at least 10 of them were asking for me to pull a card. And a lot of those, and actually almost all the ones that came after, almost every single one that came after the last card was after I had already ended the stream. And so, anyways, if you were one of those, I'm sorry. I was not on when you asked me to pull a card. And I wish Facebook would actually distinguish. That's the word I'm trying to distinguish, whether it's a live video or not. And I swear to God, I thought it did. But people were asking me for a card when I wasn't even on, meaning they probably went on there and watched the whole video, or the whole half-hour video, wondering, and then thinking that I ignored them. And so I can't ignore you if I'm not on there. It's like a tree falling in the forest. If you're not there, you don't hear it. And so, and let's see here. Ashley Marie Gomez. I'm waiting for a card to drop out here. And I'm starting to get a little careless with the cards too. Here we go. Okay, Ashley. Ace of Sacred Circles. This is a card that embodies the potential of the Sacred Circle suit. Sacred Circles often it is the suit for Earth in my deck. It is also Earth always deals with the here and the now, kind of like practical. All right, it's the really real world. All right, and it basically, a lot of people with Earth in their chart, not necessarily out of selfishness, but definitely out of self-preservation, how does this help us? More often than not, it's how does this help us, or how can I help you? All right, and a lot of people might see that as greedy, but it's more or less, why do something if it's not going to potentially help somebody? All right, it's not. Anyways, Ace of Sacred Circles, there's some kind of a new opportunity coming your way. It might be physical wealth. It might be family member. I'm not trying to say that. Anyways, I want to stop right there before I dig a deeper hole. But yeah, Ace of Sacred Circles is oftentimes deals with what we have in this world, from our physical possessions to our family. And family is one of those things that's kind of always there. All right. It can be a beautiful thing, or it can be a wart on your ass. And a lot of my family is a wart on my ass. But that's me personally. Sorry, I'm not trying to get too personal here. Anyways. All right. Stephanie Ann. I will pull a card for Stephanie Ann. All right. Okay, and Stephanie Ann, what kind of card does Stephanie Ann get? All right. Back down to the, yep. You are welcome to on. And new deck. It doesn't really want to, like I said, this is, there we go. Okay, Stephanie Ann. Not, it's a juggling act for sure. It is definitely a juggling act. 10 of Staves. This is somebody who she looks overwhelmed, namely because she is overwhelmed. It is a struggle every day to keep everything together, but somehow she's doing it. And so, it might seem rough, Stephanie Ann, but you will get through it. There might simply put, it just might take some time, because the children will grow up and they'll eventually be able to help out more than they are at the moment, as you can tell in this card. I'm not saying this about your kids. I don't know if you have any kids, to be frank, but it is a delicate balancing act, obviously, but you do seem to be handling it fairly well. So, and yes, Delia, even you have to forgive somebody. Let's see here. Alyssa M. Yinkst. First time on here, welcome. And, well, let's see if there's any good news for Melissa. Okay. Alyssa, I don't know what's going on. This is not good news. Sorry. And it's one of those things where it rarely is when it comes to tarot. If there's one thing tarot does, it tends to point out your problems more than it points out the problems that you need to solve. And so, Princess of Sacred Circles. This is, I pulled this one up earlier, but yours is reversed, which makes it the opposite. This is an unnurturing, uncaring female figure in your life. And so, whoever it's referring to, this is obviously somebody that's on your mind and somebody that you're going to have to more likely contact. And so, anyways, Alyssa, I hope this all work. I hope you manage to make it all work out. And Alyssa actually is the last card. All right. And Ashley, you are welcome. Stephanie Ann, thank you. You are welcome as well. And Alyssa, I missed Leanne. Oh, crap. Thank you. Hi, Leanne, if you're still here. Oh, God. Thank you for keeping me honest there. Thank you for keeping me honest there, Dina. Anyways, Leanne, if you're still on here, you will actually be the last card. Alyssa, I hope you managed to make it work out. So, let's see here. And besides, we all love Leanne, right? And here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go now. Here we go. Leanne, for some reason, oh, there it goes. Oh, Jesus, why? Well, that's interesting. Those both popped out. They both popped out face up, which means they're both probably necessary. Now, make sure nothing else got mixed in here. So, well, actually, that's not that bad. Okay. Let me see here. Oh, I'm sorry, Leanne. Anyways, you actually got 2 cards. They both popped out for a reason. 4 of Staves. 4 of Staves is one of those that generally indicates a loving environment. 4 is generally the number for the home. It also yeah, actually, I was thinking, sorry, I'm getting this. It's been a long day too. Anyways, this actually indicates a very loving home environment, though, from the fact that this guy came out with it, generally indicates that there might be a problem, or there is a problem at home, uh, considering everything that's going on right now and everything that you've mentioned before. I'm not surprised. But the Chariot also indicates that whatever the issue is, you'll be able to see yourself through it. Your family will be able to see yourself through it, especially if you both. Excuse me. Especially if you actually work together as a team with the issue at hand. Those 2 lions are pulling the Chariot. They have to do it in tandem and together in sync. I hope nobody heard that. But simply, you'll both be able to get through this fairly easily as long as you both work together as a team. And as a team, there's really nothing that's going to be able to stop you. And so, and with that said, everybody, that is the last card I'm pulling for an individual. All right. And something I'm going, and again, this is one of those issues that, frankly, as what I started the video off with, but the issue of George Floyd, that I normally don't delve into, like the current events of the day. I rarely do that. God, it's amazing how much easier to handle these cards are. The Archangel deck. And so, one piece of advice I'm going to give to everybody to take with them throughout the week. All right. And I'm going to pull the one angel card for the world, for everybody's world at large. All right. And we will hopefully, that is perfect. Compassion. All right. This is what everybody needs right now. This is what everybody needs to do right now to make this world better, to help this world heal. There is, and I'm going to read it as best I can, which is much easier to read on this side. So I'm trying to read it through the camera. It just doesn't work that way. Soften your heart with respect to the situation and all the people involved, including yourself. All right. And frankly, this is not just involving, at this point, this does not just involve George Floyd's family. This is very much involving the whole world. For a lack of better terms, George Floyd is essentially a martyr now. The downside, to quote Chris Rock, the worst part of being a martyr is that you have to die. And I feel his family has my deepest condolences. And I truly, truly hope that justice is served in this case. And I don't see how it is not. So it is before going off on too much of a tangent, again, people, compassion is what is truly, truly needed right now. With that said, everybody, good evening, Lisa. Unfortunately, this is also I am also going to be ending the video here in about a minute. And so, again, compassion, be good to each other. Please try to understand everybody. Everyone, try to understand everybody's pain. Try to understand everybody's anger. Try to, and simply try to understand everybody's pain. Try to understand everybody's anger. But do not. It's one thing. It's one thing to lash out. It's another thing to destroy, and it is much easier to destroy than it is to build. Things that can take centuries to build can simply be torn down. Can be torn down in seconds. All right. For instance, the pyramids of Giza have been there for thousands of years. All right. That doesn't mean that they can't be destroyed in 2 seconds. It is possible. I don't want them to be destroyed, obviously, but it is possible. With that said, everybody, be good to each other and have a good night.